What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room YouTube channel. Today, myself, Kris. I am joined by the main man, Mr. Matty Orm. How are we, mate? You good?
Can't not be happy, can I? The Reds are flying, so I'm made up. Time of my life.
Yeah, we've also got Bob as well. How are we, mate? You good?
Yeah, all good, all good. Like Matty buzzing, but yeah, all good.
Yeah, it's been a rather heavy day. Matty's not feeling too well. I'm not feeling too well, but we're still here grinding out the content, and we do promise you it will be done by the kickoff time of Manchester City Real Madrid, because no one wants to miss that. First of all, a word on yesterday, Bob. I mean, first half of nightmares and the second half of dreams, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the first half, I think, from gauging some kind of reaction on social media, everybody was pretty much losing their head by the performance, what was going on, the scoreline. You forget at half time, it was pretty much 0-0. But from what you had seen happen, it was this could just be taken out of our grasp any minute. But who are we to doubt them, mate? Second half, it was just totally different. Everybody wanted, I think, Keita and Thiago off, but it was just the one change, and the rest of the 10 of you go and sort out the mess that you've made, kind of thing. And they duly did, basically. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was the second half was a totally different game. And when you think about it in the bigger picture, we've had a bad 45 out of 4 45s basically in the semi-final. So that is sort of allowed if you get through, because you're not going to be perfect for the whole 2 games. It's especially when they're 2-0 down. Like Klopp basically said the day before, if you picture us in that situation, we probably would have done similar to what they done in the first half and just basically bust a gut to give everything. And then if we're playing someone good, realize that we're actually all fucked now and these are just going to beat us.
Yeah,
it's good.
Exactly. Matty, I mean, as Bob alluded to there, Luis Diaz was just phenomenal, wasn't it?
Luis Diaz is probably one of the best attackers in world football. I'll go on record and say that. So come into this Liverpool side who is arguably one of the greatest Liverpool sides of all time, and slot right in. Don't need a 6-month adjustment period like most people do. Slot right in and make that much of a difference. He's definitely one of the best attackers in world football. He has to be. And I lost my mind a bit at half time yesterday, but I was still somewhat confident because Owen texted me and was like, "Oh, we're going to end up going out. Can't believe you've already gone to Paris and stuff." And I said, "Owen, Liverpool never do it the easy way, ever. In 27 years of following this team, I can't remember once we've done it the easy way. Even the Champions League we won in Madrid, Spurs battled us for 90 minutes. It wasn't the easy way. It's just typical Liverpool. And what would it be without an heart attack watching the Reds?"
Exactly that, mate. And the only thing I think that's stopping Diaz becoming this world-class player that you say, I just think he does need a sort of slightly more clinical touch, but that will come with time. And I'm being extra picky with him there because he's just made such a terrific difference.
One pre-season with Klopp, I think we'll see a Diaz times 10 next summer.
Be amazing. Would be unbelievable.
Once he adds goals, you know, some of those clips that we was all watching on YouTube when we were signing him, and he was just letting it off from about 20, 25 yards, and it was just getting bent into the corners. Once we start seeing more of, I mean, everybody loves him already, but once he starts doing that, then it's just a whole different ball game then for us.
It certainly is. So he was Liverpool's latest transfer, and we are going to be talking about transfers today. There's not been too much going around, but there has been a few hitting the rumour mill recently. Matty, we'll start with you on this one. We had a slightly brief discussion on this before the stream, but according to, I can't remember actually who it's according to. I think it might be Sport Witness. Watford have named their price for long-term Liverpool target Ismaila Sarr. Apparently Newcastle, according to Football Transfers, I do apologize. Newcastle United are now in pole position, but he would cost around £40 million. It just seems like this one has run its course.
Yeah, I think if we would have got him, if we wanted him, we probably would have got him, say, when we maybe got Diaz or someone like that, or Jota. I think with Liverpool, if you want someone to get them, they're that big of a club, got the best manager in the world. Why would no one not want to play for us? I like Ismaila Sarr, but I've got to say he doesn't set the world alight, to be fair, in the Prem. You know, he's playing in a Watford side that completely plays different style of football to Liverpool, but I think for 40 million, there's better options out there anyway. But I do think he'd be a fantastic signing for Newcastle. So if Newcastle are in pole position, then fair play to them. He's a decent player, and he maybe might excel in a more attacking front team than Watford. But I do think it's ran its course. We feel like we've been linked to him for about the last 6 or 7 transfer windows. It's never happened. So it seems a bit like Neuhaus, the one that you always get linked, but it'll never happen.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, Bob, isn't it? I mean, as Matty mentioned, this was probably his year to really go on. He's had a great year in the Championship last season, and then he just seems to have reverted back to the inconsistencies that he had before. But he would certainly be a good sign for most sides in the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with Matty as well. Like, if Newcastle are in pole position to get him, if they had him on one wing and St. Maximum on another wing, that is a real threat pace-wise and trickery-wise. But yeah, if we were to get him, we probably would have got. I think the options that we've got there now for him to come in, because I think that, like, he's a good player, but he needs kind of, what's the word, a polishing up by just his end product kind of side of things. So I mean, don't get me wrong, Klopp 100% will get that done, but where we were first linked with him initially, it was more of we needed like a fourth attacker. And I think since the first links, we've had Divock come in doing bits. I'm not saying he's better than Divock or Divock's better than him, but there's been other people that have now raised the bar for you to come into this squad. Like, I think the first time we were linked with him, we hadn't even bought Jota. So now we bought Jota. Jota's come in, he's getting 20 goals. You're looking at Ismaila Sarr thinking, well, you're not going to get me 20 goals. And we're not sure what you're going to do assist-wise. I mean, a few people will have to leave. That's the only small chances I can give it. So I think we're saying Tack is leaving, Divock's leaving. There'll be a few more that would have to leave maybe for us to take a gamble, but I still think for 40 million, we could probably get better. I mean, we nearly got Diaz for that pretty much. And you look at those two players, they're levels apart. So I'm sure the scouting team will be doing a bit more work than just settling for Ismaila Sarr. But he will be a good player for maybe another club before moving on to the big club kind of thing. It'll be good. It'll be interesting to see in an attacking team, like you both said, what he will be like, because it's hard. I feel it's a bit harsh to judge an attacking player playing for Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely spot on. Bless Roy's cotton.
I think it's hard to judge anyone playing for Watford because they change managers that much. They're trying to learn that many different systems. So I agree with Bob. If he goes to Newcastle and excels, then maybe we look at him. But I think he needs to go and prove himself in a different side where he's playing more football, to be honest.
Essentially, I think we've just moved on too much for him. There was a time where we weren't as good as we are now, where we'd have took him and he would have been a good squad player and we could work with you, etc. But we've just gone way past that now, that when you come into this team, there's a different level that you've got to be on to be able to, for us to be like, right, okay, we can work with this.
Do you guys think that he will ever reach the top level? Or do you think he's destined to sort of be, and by top level, I'm talking like the minuscule, the six, probably the big six being the sort of the top level, maybe over in Europe. Do you think he's probably past that? But he is still only 24, so he seems like he's been around for ages.
I think, to be honest, I think Eddie Howe could get a lot out of him. I think he's a phenomenal coach. I think he's criminally underrated by quite a lot of people as well, Eddie Howe. But I think when you go to that big six club, you're working with a different caliber of manager who gets that 10% more out of you. So I wouldn't want to say no, he's past that until I've seen him maybe go and perform for like a Newcastle or a West Ham or something like that. Someone who next year will probably be challenging for the other European spaces.
Definitely. It's certainly an interesting one. But at 40 million, I think is a pretty overall consensus saying that we would not be looking at Ismaila Sarr. There is plenty more to be discussing when it comes to transfers this week. One of which is an attacking midfielder, Christoph Baumgartner of Hoffenheim. £30 million price tag. He scored 6 times in 27 league appearances this season, and he's only 22 years old. He has a €30 million release clause. I apologise. So that's quite cheap for a player, but I don't really think he suits our profile, Bob, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree. I tend to agree with that, like, because his age probably does, but the signings that we've been making recently are kind of pointing us in a direction where, especially with Klopp signing a new deal, he's trying to rebuild the team from a much sort of a younger age of profile. I'm like Fabio Carvalho. We've got Harvey Elliott in the mix. You've got Curtis Jones in the mix. So he's trying to mold those players. And then when you watch him for his team, the bits that we watch on the Bundesliga, which I'm going to be honest is not a lot. It's merely highlights or anything like that. You can't. I don't see how he comes in for that again. That money, because that money's not far off what we're talking about. Ismaila Sarr, and you'd say Ismaila Sarr maybe has had the rough and rigors of the Premier League, so you probably take more of a gamble on him if you're going to do anything like that. But if he was to come in again, the link there will be the manager. The manager knowing what he's I'm sure he knows a lot about the player and how to get the best out of him if he's going to bring him in. But again, we're going to have a few people leaving in those roles. So you're looking maybe at Ox, Taki. So again, you could probably get that money from selling those two and him coming in and filling that void. So it's not completely out of the subject, but again, the profile, I'm not too sure from the signings that we've made recently anyway in those positions.
Yeah, he's been compared to Kai Havertz and Michael Ballack, two very different players to be compared to. But Matty, do you think he's got the skill set and the quality to potentially play for Liverpool in the next coming years?
I do. We were speaking before we came on about when we watched the Bundesliga after COVID, because it's like the only league on. But one thing with Jurgen Klopp is anyone he signs from Germany, I trust with 100% of my heart. But when you look at this kid's stats, he's in like the 60th percentile for pressures, which is interesting. That's something Liverpool look at. But his attacking stats, he's in like the 99th percentile for like goals and shots on target and stuff. So he's definitely someone who fits our profile. The only thing I would say is he's more of an attacking midfielder, which is similar to what Fabio Carvalho his position is. So if we bring him in as well, are them two going to be rotating, etc., etc.? Is he happy to come in and maybe not get that many minutes? Because I do think Carvalho is probably the better option, and that's basically the worst kept secret in football by the looks of it. But his profile as a footballer and his positioning and stuff, it definitely fits with what Liverpool wants and his age. The only thing that he is poor with is his passing percentiles, but Diaz was terrible with his passing percentiles, and we've seen how good he can be. So I think he does fit our profile, but it's just with us already signing an attacking midfielder at 10, so to speak, this summer. I don't know if we had signed 2. That's the only thing that I'd say maybe might not happen, but he definitely fits the Liverpool profile. When you look through his stats, his stats are very Coutinho-esque.
Yeah, lots of people still think a void needs to be filled in that position. So look, it could still happen. I will take a quick break from the transfers for now. I've got a couple of questions from the chat. Who do you want in the UTL final and predictions for tonight's match? Bob, what are your thoughts?
I'd like us to play Real Madrid. Just purely, I can't be arsed with the stress of that game in the final leading up with Man City. I haven't forgot the stress leading up to the game at the Etihad, and that was just a league game with another 8 to go. Like, you know what I mean? So a final, and just more. I want to play a European team and get that Real Madrid defeat back. You know what I mean? So ideally, I'd like that to happen, but I can't see it happening. If I'm going to be honest, prediction wise, I can see Man City actually winning the game tonight. To be honest.
I've got no hope for Man City. If Real Madrid, if I'm being honest with you, I've literally put all of it behind. But I suppose that's sort of me trying to tempt fate. But what about you, Matty?
My heart wants Man City, but my head.
What?
Kris, Liverpool are a different beast in Europe. They will not beat us in a final, and I would take so much more satisfaction rubbing it into Manx faces than I would Spanish people's faces, to be honest.
However,
have you thought about them winning their first one against us, though?
I don't think they would. I think Pep overthinks European finals far too much. And I think if Liverpool was to... Look, Liverpool can blow Manchester City away if it's not at the Etihad. And we proved that at Wembley. Pep overthought stuff too much. Yeah, they'll have De Bruyne in that back who dominated us in that league game. But me and Charlie spoke to a City fan, MCFC Daps, and he doesn't want Liverpool in the final because he said Liverpool... form goes out the window in these type of games, and this Liverpool side know what it takes to win a Champions League. City don't. We only worry is I feel as though they're in a similar process to what Liverpool was in, where we lost in Kiev and then won it the year later. I feel like that could be similar for City, but I can't see them getting through tonight. They've got a 1-goal deficit. Kareem the Dream's in the form of his life. Real Madrid are a different beast in the Champions League, and at home they're even better again.
Alaba's missing though.
Yeah, I know, but if they score a goal early tonight, that'll get to City's heads. City as well, if you remember, when there's atmosphere, they crumble. They crumbled at Wembley against us. They crumbled against Lyon a few years ago as well. The only time they've got to a final is when there was no fans there. It was basically the COVID Champions League. It doesn't count last year, in my opinion. So I honestly think that atmosphere in the Bernabeu can be intense. And if they have an intense atmosphere today, they'll be well up for that. They're on the verge of doing the double themselves. So I can't see nothing past the Real Madrid win tonight, to be honest.
I just think Manchester
what
City...
score are you going with, Matty? Because can you see City scoring?
Yeah, I think it'll be
it'd have to be like a
3-1 Real Madrid. I think my heart wants Benzema, Vinny Jr. over 12 throw-ins and over 12 corners because that's what my money's on. But I do think Benzema and Vinny Jr. will probably score.
I just can't see it. I don't know. I think Manchester City is so much better than them in every department.
I'm with you, Chris.
Like
this same Manchester got beat by Chelsea in the final last year, though. We got beat by Everton last week. So,
and this is what I was going to say to you, Matty, about wanting them in the final. I believe we can beat them. Don't get me wrong. I believe we're with them no matter what, right? But the problem is with a final, we can be great on the day, but it just takes a knobhead referee. I'm sorry, I don't know if you're right to swear. Or like, do you know what I mean? Like a Karius. I'm not saying Alisson's going to do a Karius, but just something mad happening, and because it's a one-off game, it's done then. Do you know what I mean? Whereas it's two leg, you got room to make it up, or if it's a league, it's just I don't know. But I hope you're right, to be honest, in regards to tonight's prediction.
I hope your confidence, but I just think
Eagles comments here, bang on. English teams in Spain is terrible. I like going into that game yesterday. I was genuinely worried because English teams in Spain are notoriously shit. So City
we've been pretty good this season, to be fair.
Yeah, no, but I just think like I've just got Real Madrid are a different beast in the like we battered them in that Champions League final, but they still won. They're a different beast in the Champions League, Real Madrid.
But the only thing I just think individual talent can only get you so far, and that's what Real Madrid have got. They haven't got a unit, and
do you not think they would have won last week if they had Casemiro?
No. I think they were lucky to be in. They're lucky to be in the tie right now, and that's because of individual talent. And that's the only reason I think you have to be a unit in today's game, because otherwise, you players carrying you'll have passengers. You don't need that in football anymore. But I've just got no confidence in them at all.
And I'm always confident when Kareem the Dream's up top.
An amazing career, man.
I'm actually rooting for Real Madrid because I can't stand them. I absolutely hate Real Madrid, so I can't believe I'm actually rooting for them. But I really do think it'll be like Hayles just said, the Liverpool Carlo Ancelotti third final. I just think again, Carlo Ancelotti he's a different beast in the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? He's phenomenal in the Champions League, and I just think that I want City in the final myself because of all them years I went to uni with all the monks. I'd love it. I would love it.
It would be incredible. Back to transfers then, and talking about another link for a player from Hoffenheim, a defender with 13 assists, David Raum. Now, I can't profess to I've seen too much of him. He only signed for them on a free last summer, but he's got 3 goals and 13 assists in 30 games. So that's a goal contribution almost every other game. Well, more than every other game. Matty, fullback, is it somewhere that you'd look to strengthen?
Which side does he play on?
I believe he's right back.
I think it's a good rumour, to be fair. I think it could be him or Ramsey from Aberdeen. I do think Nico Williams will probably go this summer. I think his ceiling value is the highest it can be.
He's a left back. He's a left back.
Nah, I'm dead in the worst then. Unless we're getting rid of Costas, but I can't see it.
He's a left back. Apologies, guys. I thought he was a right back. He's a left back, but yeah, he's now a German Olympian. He played in the Olympics last year as well. But I just don't see it, Bob.
I think Costas will have another season really where he'll try and break in, and then if he doesn't, then maybe you sell him. But I think Costas will still be here for another year.
Do you think he's been a little bit disrespected, Costas? Because I think every time he stepped onto that field, hasn't put a foot wrong, to be honest. And I hate to criticise Andy Robertson because I think he's been excellent this season, but I just think Costas probably might have deserved a few more chances. What are your thoughts on that, Bob?
I think he's had a fair share. Like, listen, I like Costas. Obviously, he's improved a lot from last season when it was his first season and he had obviously all the COVID issues and every other thing that went wrong last season. So he's come on a lot. Like basically now, if he's in the lineup, like yesterday when he's coming on for Robertson, there wasn't anybody, I'm sure, that was thinking, well, what's in fact we wanted it sooner. When it went 5-2, it was like do it immediately because we're playing Tottenham at the weekend. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of shows the level of trust we've all got in him now. We're all comfortable with him. Whenever he comes in, he does the job. He more or less gets an assist every time he does come in. So he's pretty much going up there with the lad from Germany that you've just mentioned. So yeah, I'm with Matty. I think he'll probably do another year. He seems to be having a good time on social media and on the celebration and that. He seems to be loving every moment of it. And so right, he should as well. So yeah, I can see him hanging around. So any left backs after those, Andy Robertson and Costas, will be from the academy, I think.
Don't forget though as well, Andy Robbo is 28 and Costas is only just 10. Well, he's nearly 26.
Just turned 25. He's 26 in a week.
Yeah, so I feel like Robbo, maybe Costas is the long-term replacement for Andy Robertson. I don't know how long the fullbacks play for these days. You know, that's the issue you don't know. Like, Gary Neville's not retired at 34, but they weren't running as much as Robbo and Trent. Are they going to last till 34? Are they going to play till 32? That I think, but I do think Costas could maybe be the Robbo succession plan, to be honest.
Maybe. I honestly, he gives me good vibes. It sort of reminds me a little bit of Lucas Leiva in that way. Like, it just makes me smile.
Anyone who's got a screw loose, love them all.
Everything.
He's a much better Moreno, isn't he? Because Moreno was the one in the squad that had the screw loose and everybody found him hilarious and all the rest of it. That is Costas, but just a higher level footballing wise.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, there was a. I don't think I watched, because I'm quite sad. I watched the full highlights of Liverpool Sevilla for the first time since that actual game, and how awful was he? Oh my goodness me!
So Albi improved massively, didn't he? And then
no, he didn't, Matty.
No, that season when Robbo came in and didn't start for 6 months.
He did. I agree.
Well.
Yeah, but we were in 9th at one point that season.
Albi's standards, he was doing all right.
He was basically it took Alberto Moreno to get injured for Robertson to get his chance. Do you know what I mean? And Robertson's come out and saying he was frustrated, but he said Moreno was playing well, so he couldn't really complain too much about it. But yeah, from that was though a few months, and I think it's because he must have seen in training that Robertson is about to come in at any minute. Before that, he was our first choice left back, and that was pretty much the end of it. So he could kind of get on a hoverboard and nearly break his ankle whilst hoping to play left back for us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. He's what an enigma, mate. What an enigma. We've got lots of great characters over the years. Alberto Moreno will certainly be remembered, but probably not for the right reason.
You can tell they still like him as well, though, even from like after the game last week and yesterday.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He must have been a good lad. Do you know what I mean? Like for them to all just be sound with him still.
Absolutely.
I think it's important to keep players like that in your dressing room as well, because they lift the spirits if things aren't going well. People like, you can imagine Costas to be the joker and stuff, and you've got to have serious edge, you've got to have experienced edge, you've got to have people who lighten the mood a bit, and that's what works with Liverpool. They've got the serious people, they've got the experience, they've got the screw loosers and stuff, and it just works.
That's a good point. Very good point. And it's good to have two really good top internationals in every position, especially in the way that Liverpool are now. And to have Costas has probably certainly helped Robbo improve his game this year. But another player coming, we mentioned him earlier, but the Fulham owner actually had a bit of a discourse about Fabio Carvalho after they won the championship the other day. And it's looked like he's basically confirmed it now. So any sort of worry about that not going through is finished. I mean, how excited are you to see this lad playing Liverpool colours, Bob? Because for me, I just love picking up these young talents and wanting them to improve and become superstars, because I think he's got the potential to do that.
Yeah, 100%. Really excited to see him. We've seen him in the championship because it's easy to access games in the championship, obviously where we are. So, he's exciting. It'll be interesting to see. It'll bring a bit of interest to pre-season, because you can imagine most first-team players, as always, come back late. So he'll get his chance early in pre-season to see maybe where we plan to play him, because at the moment I don't think we don't really know where. So it'll be kind of how we were with Javier last season, where he was coming back from Blackburn, had got Player of the Year there or Young Player of the Year, and everyone was like, "Well, wonder where we're going to play him." And then we started seeing him in centre midfield, so he'll bring a bit of exciting to that. Adds to the squad, homegrown. He's had the roughness of the Championship, so I know the Premier League just step up, but yeah, really excited to see him come in. Should hopefully bring it. Obviously, I'm guessing he's going to probably be replacing someone like the Ox in that position in mid. If he's going to be going in midfield, I'd imagine he's probably going to be going midfield. He just seems a bit slight at the moment. And what I've noticed from this season, obviously, Klopp has a lot of faith in Harvey Elliott, and he was playing him a lot at the beginning. But once we got to the serious end of the season, like from January on, where we had to win every game, we've kind of hardly seen him. So I don't know. And again, I'm looking at Carvalho thinking, I wonder how that's going to work out, or are we going to have him for pre-season and then maybe decide then we're going to... I know they've said they're not going to loan him, but it's easy to say that now kind of thing. But he might come in pre-season, and then if you're bringing in... I know we're not going to discuss that today, but it's been in the rounds, the Chukwemeni midfield. That's one probably slot blocked off for him. And I can imagine he's going to want to play. But yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see the new team building gradually as in front of our eyes as we're still competing on all fronts, because normally you get told that we're going through a revolution and basically we have to content with being fourth or fifth whilst we're rebuilding, whereas we seem to have got a manager that knows how to do both, really. So that's good.
It's class. I mean, it's interesting you say about Carvalho being a little bit slight. I agree, because I think one of the biggest improvements I've seen in Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I'm using him as an example, he is built like a brick shithouse now, isn't he? And you watch the when he played back in the day for in the first few games in the 2017 season, and he just looked like a little lad, and looked lost. And I'm sure Carvalho will certainly get in the gym. You see that with a lot of Liverpool players. Where do you think he could play, Matty? Because Bob's already mentioned midfield. Is he potentially going to play in the false nine? Is he Firmino's long-term successor? It's an interesting debate.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. Maybe Klopp's going to play a similar system to what he did when he first came in, and we had Coutinho. Because I think Carvalho is very, very good to players. And Carvalho is built quite similar to Coutinho if you look at him in his stature and the way he plays. But it'll be interesting where he does play. He plays as a 10 for Fulham, doesn't he? And we don't have a 10. I don't think he gets into the midfield. I think we're too... Yeah, we are going to have to buy players in midfield this summer, but he's not like as good as Tchouameni, for example. If I've said that right, I hope I have.
You have, mate. You have, correct.
But like, and then Jude Bellingham's probably going to come in next summer. So I think it may be in the attacking options. Maybe he's the Divock replacement.
Maybe he's certainly got a lot of individual talent, and will bring something completely different. That's what I love about our five forwards now, is that they all bring such a different skill set. Hyla mentioned Mane, another one who played unbelievably yesterday. Isn't it just great to see him come back into form? There is now talks of him signing a new deal at the end of the season, Bob. Do you think that will happen, and how long do you think it'll be for?
I hope it happens. I 100% hope it happens. He was the catalyst. He was the one that kicked all this off. Like, let's not forget. Do you know what I mean? When we were all fuming that we didn't get Götze and got Mane, like why has this happened after we lost in Seville? He I hope it happens. Can I see it happening? Yeah, I can see it happening. Probably for another 3 years, I'd imagine. Especially now he's shown what he can do at number 9. It's kind of solved a lot of, not solved, but that took pressure off the Fabio Carvalhos that are coming in, and Firmino if he's not right, or Jota, because I thought maybe he might be able to do it for 1 or 2 games if you're doing it like as a surprise kind of thing. But since we bought Luis Diaz, it's just gone right back. You got, like, even yesterday down the left, it felt a bit weird seeing him there, really. Just as it was seeing him on the left when he used to play on the right when we bought Salah. It was all a bit like, whoa, I'm not used to seeing this. But like, yeah, he's banging form. And I've seen chat for him for being Ballon d'Or. 100% should be in the discussion. I don't see why he shouldn't be, especially if we achieve what we all hope we're going to achieve this season. Then, yeah, if he's on that kind of discussion, then it would be silly to get rid of him, unless he obviously wants a new challenge or to try something new. But definitely hope we keep.
I can see Sadio Mane staying at Liverpool for a long time, especially with his newfound form, Matty in the centre. I've just had a look at the stats now. Already, this is his third highest goal scoring season for Liverpool, behind the title winning season and the Champions League winning season. We all thought that potentially the rut that started last season would carry on and become the permanent version that we'd see of Sadio, but he's really hit back in style, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've never doubted him. I remember I was sat arguing with Charlie, because he was saying he's finished, get rid of him. Sadio Mane is unbelievable. He's so versatile, and like Bob said, he kickstarted this Klopp revolution. And down the middle, he's keeping Jota, who scored 20 goals this season, out of that position. He's keeping Roberto Firmino, who in my opinion is the best false nine you'll probably maybe ever see, the way he is off ball movements, etc. But Mane, he always produces. He always scores your 10, 15 goals a season. And he's, up until this season, he's been a winger. The numbers that Salah's scoring is freak. He's a freak of nature. He should not be getting that many goals and assists from the wing. He shouldn't. So he's always compared to Salah. The only thing that's interesting for me is if Mane does get 250 to 300 grand a week, in my opinion, he deserves it. I do think he probably could win the Ballon d'Or this year. However, does that then mean our wage structure is going to be slightly broken? Because if Salah gets 400, if Mane gets 300, is Van Dijk on about 300 now?
Yeah.
And then I've seen a few rumours this week about Trent getting a new deal. So he's training with Alexander-Arnold. Sure, you got to be going into John Emery's office and saying, I want 250 grand. Surely. So he's 23 and he's reached the same amount of Champions League finals as the likes of Carlos and stuff like that. And he's still only 23. So he's got to be having 250 grand a week. So it'll be interesting to see how the wage structure goes. But I'd give Mane and Bobby, and Salah all new deals. 100%. 100%. I think they're all Liverpool legends. I think they've all still got something to offer. And for years and years and years, Liverpool fans have been crying out for depth. Now we've got world-class depth, and people are saying, oh, could sell him. It's like, why? We don't need to. We're Liverpool Football Club. They're all happy. Bobby loves the city. Salah loves us. Mane loves us. Jota loves us. Diaz loves us. Why sell any of them? Keep them all. We've probably got the strongest attack in world football, and long way to continue. I've said all season, give Mane a new deal and Bobby, and made up Mane's proved it, to be honest with you. And you could argue in recent weeks that Mane deserves a deal more than Salah.
Well, looking at it on both the contract situations, the Salah and the Mane, as we sit here today, I'm more confident of Mane signing a new deal than I am of Salah.
That's something I like about Mane. His representatives have said, we know the deal's going to come in at the end of the campaign, probably going to be 250, 300 grand a week, and we're going to sign it and we're going to stay. None of this messing. I love the club. I don't want to leave. Just sign it.
That's not Mo Salah though, mate. That is Rami Abbas.
But Mo Salah can put an end to that though, Chris. Surely he can say, stop talking. Just don't do anything.
No player. It pisses me off because no player is bigger than Liverpool Football Club. No player is bigger than that badge on that shirt. Now, Mo Salah, if he goes and plays for PSG, does he get the numbers he's getting in this Liverpool side? I don't think so.
No, that's true. But hopefully, look, I think all of them will sign, to be honest, because Jurgen signed. I think Jurgen signing the deal is making a huge difference in our negotiating stance in the market in all of the markets, because it's like, actually he's going to be here for 4 years, not 2. You're going to get a good stint with him. And he is the selling point. He is a USP of Liverpool Football Club. You get to work with the best manager in the world, in my opinion. So I think that's the reason why I've changed. I think Naby will get one. I see Hylas did a thing about Naby here. Do you think he'll get one, Matty? And would you give him one?
I would. I think he deserves one. Based on yesterday's first half performance, I'd drive him to the airport. But on the lot bigger picture of this season, he does deserve a new deal. He's been fantastic, to be fair to him. But it's interesting that Hyla's saying about Kaiser getting a new deal. When he's saying Curtis Jones' numbers have been atrocious. I want to address that, though, to be honest with you, Chris, if I can.
Go on, mate.
Curtis Jones, in other players in his position, ranks in the 90+ percentile for passes completed, passes attempted, pass completion percentage, pass completed short, passes attempted short, pass completed short, pass completed medium, passes completed large. He's in the 99th percentile for assists. His key passes is in the 76th percentile. Curtis Jones is still only 20 1 year of age. He's a kid. He's still learning. And the amount of people who have wrote this kid off is a joke. Curtis Jones, I am telling you now, will be at Liverpool for the rest of his life, and he will play in that midfield. His stats aren't atrocious at all. If you look through Curtis Jones's stats, he is in the 80 to 90th percentile against other players in his position in the world for everything. And he's 21.
Matty, I don't question him, and I haven't written him off, right? But do you wonder, though, at the moment, as we are, like I said, how we've improved, right? And where the team is, and we're linked with Tchouaméni and Bellingham. And remember Curtis Jones we saw in the academy, who I thought was an exciting kind of left wingerish, doing like just let him go and do his thing kind of thing. Do you wonder how he fits in, though, like going forward into as a starter, or do you see him more being a squad player?
I think at the minute Curtis Jones is a squad player because he's a kid. I think people don't realize how young Curtis Jones is because he's been in the first team for so many years. Curtis Jones
younger than him, isn't he?
By 1 year. Bellingham's a freak. He's generational talent. I don't think Curtis Jones is a generational talent. I don't think he's in that bracket, but I think he's a fantastic squad option, and I think a lot of people write him off. And all you need to do is look at the games this year. How many times has Curtis Jones started for the under-23s? And then go and have a look how many times Harvey Elliott started for the under-23s. And that'll show you just how much Jurgen Klopp rates Curtis Jones. I know they play in separate positions, but if someone can find me a bad game when Curtis Jones has played in the left centre midfield role, not on the left wing, I don't think you can. Every time he plays in the position where he's strongest, he is fantastic. Curtis Jones, for me, he's had 1 or 2 bad games, but he's a kid. He's going to make mistakes. He's a kid. He's still learning. And someone said in one of our chats yesterday that maybe Curtis Jones is learning from Thiago, and eventually when Thiago moves on, retires, whatever, he then goes into that role. And potentially he does. And he's criminally underrated. And no, Hylo, I'm not going into a stat war with you. I'm just saying with Curtis Jones, Kris will tell you it infuriates me that people write him off. And I'm not being biased. There's not a family bias or nothing like that in it. But I adore him. Curtis Jones is very highly rated. He gets in the team ahead of the Ox, Minamino, Harvey Elliott. He starts. He come on yesterday. None of the others did. Like he's still getting consistent minutes in this side, and I think that
Harvey Elliott was in the team ahead of him before injury, though.
Exactly.
I also think there's something to do with the social media side of things with Harvey. But one thing I will say, just to close the discussion, because there is only 4 minutes till kickoff. I think the perfect way to learn how to deal with a youngster is look at how Pep Guardiola has managed Phil Foden. The way that he's been gradually eased in. He's not been shoved into the limelight. And when he's done stuff wrong, because kids do stuff wrong, I'm only 19 and I came home with a horrible headache yesterday after regretting the amount of beers I had. Look, people do things wrong and make mistakes, and they have to be punished for it and then move on, and I just think the way that Pep deal with Foden, and he's created an absolute superstar there. I think with Elliott and Jones, Klopp can do it as well.
This comment, right? Steven Gerrard is the greatest midfielder to ever play for Liverpool Football Club, in my opinion. And Steven Gerrard said Curtis Jones was one of the best players he's ever worked with. So make it that what everyone will.
I agree with what Stevie said at the time, but he was a different Curtis then. I want that Curtis. I want him to just be let off the leash on the left and just do what
that's what he needs. He needs when he plays on the left wing, he's not got the pace. He can't play there. It's stupid. It's like when we play Divock on the left wing, it doesn't work. Curtis Jones needs to play on the left centre midfield, and at the minute, he's got arguably one of the best midfielders ever in that position in Thiago Alcantara. He's not going to break into the side. Last season, his stats were better, but he was playing more. There was so many injuries, and don't forget he was playing in the side that was ravaged by injuries. There was no Van Dijk, etc., etc. He's 21. He's a kid. He's still got a huge, huge future at Liverpool, in my opinion, and it does me Sweden like how many people. I'm not saying you're writing him off, just on Twitter. The amount of people saying sell him, loan him. He's 21. If Curtis Jones was at any other club, we'd be saying buy him for 40 mil. 100%.
There we are. So that's concludes another episode of Transfer Central. That wasn't really too much about transfers, to be honest. But it's great to have seen all of you guys in the chat. Make sure you go and enjoy the Man City and Real Madrid game. Hopefully, Hala Madrid, we see them beat Manchester City. I'm not going to lie, I'm not feeling positive about that. But Hala Madrid, Hala Carlo, Hala Kareem, and we will see you in the next Transfer Central or whatever stream we do. See you then. Bye bye.